Well, all right, guys, March 6th here at Biloxi Bicycle Works. We have a beautiful weather in Biloxi, Mississippi. It is midweek, but we've had a lot of traffic in the shop today. I'm happy to see so many people out riding bikes. We have a lot of visitors to the Mississippi Gulf Coast right now. But we do have beautiful weather, and we know it's cold in some of the northern states, so I didn't mean to make you all jealous. I didn't show you guys the other day what we have here, but we've got a retool studio here at Biloxi Bicycle Works, and if you look it through the window, we're kind of using it as bicycle storage right now. It is that time of the year where a lot of the triathletes and stuff want to get fit, and it's tough when you have to store bikes because you can't get parts, and it takes a lot of time. But I was going to come over here and make a little video here in the service Biloxi Bicycle Works service department, and I was just talking to one of my mechanics here about this Ozark Trail. And you guys know I'm working on department store bikes isn't my favorite thing. I didn't really get into this business to work on department store bikes, but we also want to help people with bikes. We don't want to be that kind of snobby shop, and just because you bought it at a department store, we're still going to help you out. We have noticed though, Steve's been in the business for 17 plus years. So Steve's a very veteran mechanic. And sometimes when people bring us an Ozark bike, we're just like, oh my God, because we know the quality is so bad. But it seems like recently they've upped the quality, but they've upped the price too. I think this is a $500 department store bike. But it's a little bit better quality than we see on some of these type of bikes. We did notice it's got a Q's derailleur, and we're fans of Q's, but I think a lot of people don't realize that there's 3 levels of Q's. There's a 4,000, a 6,000, and an 8,000, and just like different levels of componentry, of course this is going to be the 4,000. So there's no clutch built into this derailleur. It feels like it has a pretty stout spring, but a bike like this, even though it looks like a full suspension mountain bike, well, in theory it actually is a full suspension mountain bike, but it's not something that I'd really want to go beat around on the trails. And I've seen some YouTubers take these things out and try to destroy them, and they end up getting destroyed. And you can destroy anything, but really these are more of they're definitely entry level, and they're not bike shop quality bikes. So when Steve's trying to tune this derailleur, I mean, this is a brand new bike that someone tried to put together, and now we're having problems with strip bolts. So I don't know if you've ever worked on your car or something. If you strip a bolt, it takes extra effort to get that bolt out. So Steve's having to spend extra time. Time is money. Steve gets paid by the hour, and Steve doesn't give me a discount because it's a department store bike, and because of that it's got stripped out bolts, and he's going to give me a discount. Steve gets his hourly wage really no matter what, the way it should be. Steve deserves to earn a living wage plus. And when he's working on a bike like this that we charge about $100 to tune this bike, but now Steve's having to spend extra time with stripped out bolts and stuff. That $100 is already eaten. So once again, this is a job that's not really turning into a profitable job. Like I said, we want to be that nice bike shop and help people out, but again, you guys know we're trying to be a profitable bike shop, and it is tough when you have stuff like this. It is better than a normal department store bike. They actually have a derailleur that's a bit thicker than normal. Some of these derailleurs on these department store bikes are so paper thin that Steve tunes it. Someone lays it down in the back of their pickup truck, the derailleur gets bent, the chain line's off, and it doesn't shift anymore. And then we're blamed as the mechanic that fixed it 2 weeks ago. Now the bike's not shifting. When it has a thicker derailleur hanger, it's less likely to get bent. But this is the dilemma with bike shops right now. Years ago, we didn't have a lot of department store bikes that were coming into the bike shop to get repaired. That's changed because I think people are buying a lot of price point bikes. They're going for the cheapest bike possible. And when people come into my front door and ask me for, the cheapest bike, I tell them we don't have a cheap bike. I could sell a good valued bike, but not a cheap bike. That's why I don't like the word cheap. And at $500, this is not really a cheap bike. I mean, you can buy, especially right now in the mountain bike world, you can buy a Cannondale, a Trek, a Giant in the lower tiers that's going to be better quality than this. I know Steve's going to even have a hard time with the brakes and stuff on these. Like, things just aren't lined up. They're not machine good. And if you think about it, this is a $500 bike to the end user. This bike had to be shipped over from China or Taiwan. I don't even want to start talking about, child labor and all that stuff, because I haven't been over there. I haven't seen kids building bikes. I've seen it on YouTube and on videos, but I haven't seen it with my own eyes. So I'm definitely not implying that Ozark Trail uses child labor, but they must be using some pretty cheap labor if they can build this bike with all the machining. A bike has, and people don't realize, nipples, spokes, gears, chains. There's a lot of technology and machining that goes into something like this. So they have to source raw materials. Then they have to have these raw materials created into parts and frames, and then they have to assemble them. They have to ship them over. The cost of shipping right now, it's hard for me to ship a pair of running shoes to New York for less than $15. So you can imagine what a container full of bikes must weigh and cost to get over here. Then it's got to be transported to a shop from a port. Then it's got to be merchandise. It's got to be built. And then the end user buys this for $500. There's my dad used to say, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. So just realize, I'm not disregarding $500. I wish I had $500 in my pocket, but be careful what you spend money on. And this guy just says, hey, look, I want to ride bikes with my wife. I want to, walk my dog and ride my bike. And that's enviable. That's what I got in a bike shop, is to help people with that. But with the deals on bikes right now, you could have got a name brand bike. Cannondale has good deals. Trek has good deals. Giant, Specialized. So just be careful when you're looking at this kind of stuff. He bought two of them, so he's got $1,000 wrapped up into a couple bikes that one will never have a resale value. And here at Biloxi Bicycle Works, we are, looking at the. Hey, how you doing, Shauna? Good to see you. We have awesome customers that come into our shop. So I'm making a little YouTube video. You gonna run tonight?
I'm trying to be quiet.
Oh, you don't have to be quiet. We love your personality. So, and as you can see, this is an uncandid, unplanned video that we're trying to do. Dan's got something special over here. Dan is boxing a bike, and it's a Quintana Roo, so it's a tri bike that's got to go into this
Bicycle Box.
Bicycle Box. So Bicycle is a company that buys used bikes from people, and they're picky about what they want this thing wrapped up to be. So they want it pictures.
Tight specifications. They shipped with the box some materials to help wrap the bike up in.
Okay.
A lot of pictures to document all the material, how it gets wrapped, how it goes in the box, in the box, to make sure everything's good and safe. So
Yeah.
It's
So,
kind of nice.
Yeah.
Kinda cool.
It is pretty cool. And of course, Dan cut this cardboard in our cardboard machine. Looks like Bicycles probably sent a little bit of foam. We don't like the foam so much. It does a good job of protecting the frames, but it's not recyclable. So, but Bicycle seems like they've got a good thing going. But believe me, when your bike shop says it's going to cost $200 to pack your bike, just know Dan's going to have several hours into making sure this bike goes into that box without damage. So when you are selling a bike, add the cost of shipping and packing that bike. A lot of people think they can do that themselves, but Dan has boxed hundreds or thousands of bikes, and we realize how intricate it is to make sure a handlebar doesn't get into a frame. We just saw our UPS guy, our FedEx guy, pull up out here. He's a friend of ours, and we know what he goes through putting these bikes on his truck. So people want to blame the drivers, but man, these drivers are working in a small area of this truck, and these boxes are big and things that get moved around. So you really have to do they use some pretty good cardboard. This cardboard is not as thick as the cardboard our boxes are, but
it's pretty stiff. But I'll put some more packaging in there,
right,
make sure everything stays safe in it.
So this is what goes on in the back of a bike shop. I mean, carbon fiber wheels. We don't want this to end up damaged when the end user comes. So just know everything. You know, time is money, and in the bike shop, when you're dealing with important pieces of equipment, we want whoever gets this bike to open it up, be happy with his purchase, go do a couple triathlons and be happy with Bicycle. And it looks like Bicycle's, you know, trying to make sure that it's packed professionally. So we want to know more about Bicycle. I mean, there's a lot of companies now trying to buy used bikes, and which is good. That way bikes get recycled. I like that. Of course, we got Steve over here that's working on the Ozark Trail. That is taking more time than normal, and it's not that Steve is going slow. It's just it is hard extracting bolts. You know, I mean, we were just talking about how you had to get that strip bolt out. So it's probably better if you are going to buy something like this that instead of trying to put it together yourself and then bringing it over, just bring it over in the box. That way, you know, we don't have to take extra time. Like I said, we're not going to charge this customer extra because he had stripped out bolts, but we're also really, after the extra time we put in this bike, it's not going to be a profitable job for us. And it's just a good thing Steve knows how to extract bolts good, you know, but they still take time. If you've ever broken a bolt, it's not easy to get those things out, you know. So just be careful, you know, do your bike shop a favor and don't try to put your bikes together and then, oh, looks like we got another couple of them. You just took these in, and I like Shauna. Shauna's awesome. Looks like this is probably beyond the limitations of what it's supposed to be. Once again, I've never really, these are department store bikes as well. But it is cool, you know, that people are busting their bikes out so they can ride. Shauna's more of a runner than a rider. It is kind of, the bicycle is your canvas. You can paint it any way you want. So if you have kind of a skinny tire drop bar road bike and a big fat seat like that, more power to you. You know, some bike shops are gonna just say, don't even bring that in my shop. But you know, we're in downtown Biloxi, Mississippi. We want to be friendly to people, and believe me, we see it all. You know, we see it all. But in the end, we need to make a little bit of profit, and that's not really the business model that I wanted to start with. But we're going that way. And as you guys are watching the daily trials and tribulations of the bike shop, hey Pete, how you doing, man? Just know that this is kind of what a bike shop goes through. Maybe I'll do a video of this bike tomorrow, another e-bike video. But e-bikes are very popular right now, and this is one here that we've got a couple hours into trying to source some parts for. I got to call that other YouTube reviewer. I think it's Guru Adventure Company. I watched some of his videos last night. Man, I hope his plan comes together and he can be the warehouse for some of this stuff. I got to see if he's got a resource for some parts I need, because I don't want to turn down this kind of work, but I just got to make sure that it's profitable, you know, that we can fix it in a timely manner, that we can keep our customers happy, that it makes us look like we know what we're doing, you know, and a lot of this is uncharted waters. I saw that, God, I'm probably pronouncing it a little wrong, Guru Adventure Company. I mean, they're actually taking these motors apart, servicing them and cleaning and put them back together for customers, and he's trying to find a bench so we can test and program controllers. A lot of the stuff that, you know, we just don't dive into right here at Biloxi Bicycle Works yet, but I would like to, so I'm glad to see someone taking the initiative to learn how to do all this stuff, and you know, hopefully the consumers will understand how much work goes into trying to fix some of these e-bikes that you can't really get parts for. Now I understand this company here, Velo Electric, is sourcing parts in the United States. I need to find out more about that. And if I wasn't watching that video last night, because I've tried to call this company several times today, and I can't get through to them. It has been a busy day, so I haven't wanted to stay on hold for more than like 5 minutes at a time. So maybe I just need to be a little bit more patient. But once again, my time is precious. My time is worth something in the bike shop. And if I'm sitting on hold for 5 minutes, 3 times, that's 15 minutes. I could have been doing something a little bit more productive. So anyway, I'm glad to hear that this company is sourcing parts. I don't know that for sure yet, but I know I can't even get a hold of this company. Jensen. Just be careful what you buy, man. Be careful what you buy. Here's another department store bike, you know, an Ozone. We haven't had much luck with these bikes, and I have to say that when we do tune them up, they go out of tune very quick. Let me show you this real quick. This is one of those really thin derailleur hangers that I talked about. At least it is a replaceable derailleur hanger, but it's very thin on a large size bike. So whoever's going to be riding this bike is going to be a larger person. They're going to be putting a lot of torque into that, and I wish people would maybe buy less from the department stores when it comes to bikes and come to the bike shop. Like, I can sell a good bike for $500-600. We are going to be diving into the used bike market more. I know someone said, hey, don't consult your lawyer, don't consult your insurance company, but that's so easy for someone else to say. I have a liability when I sell a used bike, and I want to be able to sell that bike with a warranty. But I personally know of a couple bike shops that are fighting lawsuits right now because they sold a used bike and then there was a problem and someone got hurt, and that lawyer found out that bike was bought at a bicycle shop. Even if it gets thrown out of court, you still have to get your lawyer involved. That costs some money, and I know I've had a couple lawsuits that, you know, got thrown out of court, but it still cost me $1,500-1,700 to have my lawyer go through the motions. So anyway, that might be my next video. Sometimes when I make these videos, you know, I'm just walking around the bike shop and telling you how it is in my head. Hey Pete, good ride last night.
Good ride.
Pete and I rode in a hellacious wind last night.
We got sandblasted.
We got sandblasted, but in the end it was a great ride.
It was.
It was what, 27 miles?
Yeah.
The way there, I don't know, we had a headwind of 20 plus mile an hour, straight down the beach. Pete picked the route. And then on the way back, we were hoping for a big tailwind. I don't think it was that much of a tailwind. We were getting like a crosswind, so we got wind both ways. But it was Wednesday night. We went out and hammered it. If you want to see some of the pictures, look at our Facebook. Biloxi Bicycle Works is the name of the shop. And we do have a little Facebook site, and I put a few little videos of it last night just on Facebook. So you might be able to see them on Instagram. I don't know. It seems like Instagram scrubs a lot of my stuff. So anyway, Bike Shop Diaries. Here at the beginning of March. And I'm putting down my bicycle tonight and throwing on my running shoes. So I'm gonna run tonight. You gonna walk tonight, Pete?
No, I'm gonna go do stuff. I've
Okay.
got parents to run.
All right.
It was Thursday. It's just been a
Yes,
long week.
Thursday.
Did you get the same super caliber I did?
Yes.
All right, let me show you what Pete.
Different colors. We're
Let's
not
see,
doing
show you what Pete and I got. And of course, once again, Trek helped me out immensely with this bike because I wouldn't have been able to afford it. But I'll be riding one of these coming up. I actually want to do some mountain bike racing, which is one of my favorite things in the whole dang world. And I've kind of let it go over the few years. I've done a couple races a year, but I haven't actually done a whole series. But more on that. Let me get this video downloaded and sent to you guys. Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, Biloxi Bicycle Works, Daily Bike Shop Diary. I rode that last night. I rode a Giant last night. I like Giant. I don't know if I like this bike that much though. But once again, content for another video. Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, over and out.